every single console you sell, Series S, Series X, put it in with games, give it to people with, like, get people buying Mountain Dew and Doritos, give them codes. Just get it out there, man. You did it with Xbox Live. Do it again. You can take over the world. I believe in you, you big, beautiful man. There.
Also, don't forget to include a coupon for a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut in there as well.
People should be accidentally signing up for Game Pass at this point.
You know what I would do if I was Sean Capri for 25 minutes? I'd go to Sean Capri's shelf and open all of the stuff on his shelf.
Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm glad you're here because you're listening to the most horsepowerful podcast on the internet. It's the Xbox Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Brian. Where the hell's Ryan? Ryan's not here. We got two special guests. We got the Court of Owls, Court Lalonde, and the man with the beard, Seth Sturgill, coming in for the Xbox Drive. Blah, blah, blah. And I was right, by the way. Blah.
No power greater than X.
Court Lalonde, Seth Sturgill, joining me here today on the Xbox Drive, maybe experiencing your very first, let me scream at the camera. You guys be quiet for a second. I'll just scream at the audience. Court, it's good to have you on. I love your original Xbox sweater, my friend. That looks great on you, obviously.
Yeah, honestly, this is my favorite logo. I know maybe I'm just old school. Like my favorite Nintendo logo, though, is the Super Nintendo. So maybe I'm like, that era, those years. But I love this logo. The Xbox 360, I like that, but I love this logo for some reason.
It's a great logo.
So like X gonna give it to you. I love it.
Man. And Seth Sturgill, my co-host from the Nintendo Drive. Good to see you, my friend. We recorded yesterday, recording today. I think you're doing the PlayStation Drive at some point. Carpool coming together. Holy crap.
Carpool's coming together. And I'm also OG Xbox love all around. I'm wearing a Jet Set Radio shirt.
Nice.
Jet Set Radio Future. Mm-hmm. That's like my favorite. That's like one of my favorite games of all time. Everybody already carryovers from the Nintendo Drive last night. Everybody calling out the chair, the armchair thing. This is what I do. It's my brand now.
I actually noticed that on our call when we were talking the other day, Seth. I was like, is he just airing out? Like, what's he doing?
Just feels good.
I got a little chair.
It's good to open up your chest a little bit. We spend all day playing video games and shoulders rounded forward. Yeah, you got to open up.
I wish I spent all day playing video games. That'd be awesome.
Anyways, as Ryan would say, welcome to the Xbox Drive, where we talk about Xbox all the time except for right now. I'm going to go ahead and clean out the garage. If you want to support the show, there's a number of awesome ways that you can do that. Number one, if you're watching the stream here at youtube.com/carpoolgaming, hit subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment if you're watching the VOD. You can subscribe to us, I said that weird, on podcast services around the globe. And the best thing that you can do is go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and choose a tier that is right for you. It's the best because you get a tremendous amount of exclusive content, like the Nintendo Drive post show, and you just never know where that show is going to go, y'all. We don't know where that show is going to go. It's a conversational podcast. It's sort of the aftermath of the Nintendo Drive with myself, Seth, and Lachlan. And we talk about pretty much everything. And the other thing that's over there at patreon.com/carpoolgaming is our Carpool Gaming Fantasy Critic selection. Yes. We did our draft, and through this, Ryan, who you'll notice is not here for undisclosed reasons, he might have made a few attacks on Court, and this might have started a new chapter in the lore of Carpool Gaming that you'll want to pay attention to. So if you want to know where that all started, if you want to follow along with our fantasy critic, go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and choose the tier that's right for you. I think that's it. I don't normally do this. Am I good? You guys good?
Yeah, honestly, I was just about to say, I think this is the first time I've ever been on a show that you're hosting.
Yeah, I don't host.
Ever. Yeah, no, neither do I. Like I'm going to be when Seth comes on the PlayStation Drive. I'm gonna host because
look at that.
Ryan made that rule up once that if you're the only one from your show there, you're hosting.
You're hosting.
He came on the PlayStation Drive with me one time, and I was sitting there, and it was just silence, and he just stares at me, and he's just like, "You're hosting." I'm like, "Oh wow, well done, Ryan. Well."
Oh, wow.
I was not prepared for this at all.
What? Sean, I will thank you for letting me drop that one game in our fantasy critics so that I could counterpick one of Ryan's games.
Did you really? What did you counterpick?
100%. Final Fantasy.
Good for you.
Wasn't even thinking twice.
Good for you.
Wasn't even thinking twice. My co-host Matt Sawicki he has made a pizza bet with Ryan, and he's also explained to me that game is not coming out, Ryan. So you're just gonna have to suck it because that ain't happening.
Get it? Oh
I'm
my
gonna
gosh.
be aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird, like we're usually known as, hopefully a bit of a wholesome group. We all love each
Wholesome?
other very much. And here we are just like, we're out for blood. Welcome to the new Carpool Gaming in 2023. We've had it with each other. We're going to tell you, I got a lot of
Done.
problems with you people.
You're gonna hear about it.
It's feats of strength. all
Year-long
long.
Festivus.
Yeah, year-long feats of strength.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, there's probably an order of operations around here on the Xbox Drive. Ryan, I hope you're doing well, my friend, if you're listening. And welcome to everybody here joining us at youtube.com/carpoolgaming, where we record every single week live at 12 o'clock Mountain Time. That's where I'm going with this time. I got to have a variety of, worldwide time zones. We got to be inclusive. Whatever. Let's get the Australian time zone out there
I was
as
gonna
well.
say, throw that out.
Yeah, Australia. We got a lot of support from Australia. The Commonwealth is representing. Very, very cool. But what I think generally happens next is we pop in their 8-track and we talk about the playlist. Seth, I'm very curious to talk to you because for people who have only been listening to the Nintendo Drive, I've been encouraging you to play Xbox games. There's lots of cool stuff happening. And you made a discovery lately that you might have access. Like, do you want to talk to the people about this?
Yeah, sure. So I don't have an Xbox.
What are you even
yet.
doing here?
I know. Goodbye. I don't have an Xbox yet. Huge fan of the original Xbox. Loved the 360. Xbox One, they lost me. They kind of lost me with the Xbox One era. I thought it was
Fair.
I thought it was pretty bad, and I think that's probably a popular opinion. But so I didn't jump on board with S and Series X. I want to because Game Pass is amazing, and I've actually been a Game Pass subscriber for a long time, just because I feel like that just kind of comes with like your social security card now. Just you just get Game Pass, like it's just part of it. So I've got Game Pass, and I realized for some reason I just thought in my head that a lot of these games were either only on Xbox or only on PC, and I didn't realize that the vast majority of them are actually on both. So it's like a whole new world for me right now. I'm playing like High on Life. My cousin and I are playing Halo Infinite in co-op. Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great, dude.
So Seth, after this, can you cut it short? And as soon as you say a whole new world, can we just switch
Yeah.
right to like Aladdin riding the like that's
Sweeping.
it wrote itself there.
Yeah.
You can
done.
also play on your phone, Seth. Like let's not forget, like games like Hades
crazy.
actually work very well on your phone. It's
Mhm.
crazy how good Game Pass is when you don't realize it. It's just like what? Like I can't get over like what was it? As Dusk Falls. You could play that on your phone. I had to remember because I'm looking back there at my brain, but I remember playing on my iPad. It's just
My brain.
Yeah, my
I feel
brain
like-
doesn't work too well sometimes.
I feel like a Game Pass ad or something, but like it really is amazing. Like,
Yes!
I'm like, this is crazy. Like that this works. I'm
There's
so
something
used to
for
being
everyone.
in Nintendo Land where you only got one save on your Pokemon games, Sean.
That's what I've been
So-
saying. Like, just go look somewhere else, and it's so much better. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills around here. Oh my god! Now I have to ask you because I know that you're playing Citizen Sleeper for the Backtrackers, which is our video game book club. Come into the Discord. It's the best thing we've got going on here. Community driven. It's amazing. Are you playing Citizen Sleeper on Game Pass via phone or computer or PC or
could.
whatever? You
That's a
could.
good call. I might, because I basically 100%ed it on Switch.
Oh, you paid for it like
So-
a sucker.
Yeah, I did. Well, it was
That
on
doesn't
sale.
make sense.
Sale.
Sale.
It's whenever there's the Nintendo version, I tend to go that direction first. But now that I know that I have access to all this stuff,
Yes.
I'm like, well, I'll
One
just
of
play it
us.
Here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
so-
have a new rule for Seth for this year. He can follow the rule that I went last year. If the game is on Game Pass, I play it on Xbox.
yeah.
Like just I don't even think twice now. Like Shredder's Revenge, everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna get my collector's edition. I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna play it on Game Pass and it's gonna be great.
I
Totally.
feel like a chump. I've been
You
I've been
should.
this whole time,
But
Yeah,
not
I
any
do.
longer. Like the chump is leave the chump in the past. Like you're moving on to your new you. I love it,
Yeah,
man.
man. New year, new me. Yeah, I guess I'm a Game Pass guy now.
It's a whole new world, right, Seth?
It
It's a
happened.
whole new world, dude. And yeah, I've been playing all this stuff, like Halo. I'm like, I feel like not a lot of people talked about the campaign of Halo Infinite. This is pretty great. Like, I really like it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
Well, it's coming on 2 years ago. We played it. But you're doing co-op, right? You're playing co-op with
Yes.
was it your brother or your cousin or
My cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin and I, we always play the Halo games in co-op, and we're like having a blast with
I
it.
love
It's
it.
like super fun. And then I just started up High on Life, and like that's really fun too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Psychonauts 2, buddy. I'm telling you
yes.
right now, one of my
100% of it.
favorite games on Game Pass by far. Like that
so good.
love that game so much.
This is
So
so
good,
much
dude.
fun. Normally we're talking about The Sims or something weird by this point, so this is great.
And I think that it kind of gives me a little bit of a new perspective, because I feel like there's a lot of kind of poo-pooing on the Xbox side of like, oh, Xbox doesn't have any games or whatever. I'm like, yeah, they do. I'm playing them. You know what I mean? Like things like High on Life and Pentiment and stuff like that. Like these, they're here. It might not be exactly what everybody wants, but like there is stuff. It's here. You know.
I'm
So-
poo-pooing Lockleth in the
I-
chat. Get out of here with that.
I fell asleep. He said Pentiment. I got really.
Oh, I want to. I definitely want
Gotta
to
give a
play
little
it.
Brian Murford love today.
Oh my gosh. What about you, Court? What do you got going on, my friend?
I've been actually I bought a bunch of games on sale. During the holidays, because they were all like these games I hadn't played. So I've been playing Borderlands 3, and everybody told me this game is not good, and I can't put it down. I don't know what it is. I'm having just fun with it. It's just I'm going out there saying to Seth, I'm just shooting people, picking up the loot, upgrading my gun, and I'm just rinse and repeat and just taking the jokes. It's like it's not like High on Life, where High on Life just kept saying the same joke over and over and over and over and over again. It's like I got different jokes.
You're
every
my
now and
favorite
then,
client. I'm
and-
your divorce lawyer.
He's
So-
dead now. We killed that guy.
And I can just jump in and jump out, and I'm having fun with it. But also in a non, Xbox world, I just finished Mario Odyssey, and I played it for the first
Yes.
time, and it was one of the best video game experiences I've
Yes.
ever had playing a video game. And I finished it with my daughter, and it's the very first time that we've ever played a game together where we traded lives. So
Nice.
if I die, she goes, and so on and so forth. And then she started understanding that collecting coins we needed so that we could die some more. And she stopped saying, she goes, Daddy, we're not dying. We're just reappearing. Like, yeah, we're just reappearing. Sure, that's fine.
As Miyamoto
do-
designed, as he
Yeah.
intended.
I am doing I did do the boss battles, and now she's excited to play 3D World. So I will say thank you, Sean, because I wouldn't have a Switch without you, and I wouldn't
Influencer.
even have bought any of these games. But I'm just having fun playing video games. That was my thing last year. I just want to have fun. I'm just going to continue that trend. I'm going to play a game if it speaks to me. If it doesn't, I'm just going to put it down. It's just I'll move on.
Nice.
Just
Imagine
whatever. I tried to go through a bunch of different games. I played Diablo 2, and I was like, it's just not clicking with me right now, which was weird because I love the game. I finished Mafia. Like I was just like, whatever. I'm going to just do whatever makes me happy.
That
What a
seems.
concept.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, wait, does not compute. I don't understand.
I
Why
just-
can't I do this?
I don't need to be in the zeitgeist. Like I know
Right.
Sean and I, we talked about how when Dead Space comes out, we're like, well, we'll play our 8-hour freebie on Game Pass.
Yeah,
We'll play it for 8
trial.
hours. We'll play the trial. If I like it, I'll buy it. If I don't, I got 8 hours out of it though.
I can't wait, dude. I actually forgot about Dead Space, and that's not anything to do with the game.
Coming
I'm just
soon.
I'm a little fried these days. But I did get a chance to play on Saturday night alongside many members of the community. We played a little bit of that Halo Infinite. We played some custom matches. We played some big team battle, and that still holds up, you guys. I'm telling you, there's not going to be any, parades or anything for this sort of thing. But Halo Infinite is great. Like, it's super fun. And the more that I just accept it for what it is, and that is super, it feels great, looks great, it makes people come together, I think Halo Infinite is amazing. I love playing a custom game at the Waffle House, of all the places. You play at a Waffle House on one of these maps, and it's incredible. We don't have Waffle Houses here. Even the sign, like the traffic, like the lights are blinking on it. Like, it doesn't even work properly. It's got this Waffle House, but it's kind of like run down a little bit. So you're running around in the parking lot. You could run into the Waffle House itself. You can jump up on the roof and everything. There's cars there. You can kill people in
my
the
God.
surrounding little forest. And this is made by just some person who made it in Forge, and now it's there
Waffle
for
House
us.
is amazing, you guys.
I gotta try Waffle House.
I came in and lurked. I didn't. I actually came in while you guys were playing, but I know it was way past my bedtime, so I didn't want to get in there because I didn't feel like getting in the conversation. I just wanted to lurk. But you were on that level that was like, I guess it was grounded. Like you were going in and out of little holes and shooting each other.
Oh,
And
diglets.
people were complaining, but at the same time, it was like, Sean, you're actually like destroying people. Like, keep this level. Like, all these people
my
are so
favorite.
used to, like, it was the no patience level. That's why I called it.
Mhm.
I was like, if you have patience, you can play the level. But if you're like a newer gamer, in the different generation, they just want to run and gun all the time. And I'm just like, I was watching the so-called like Halo experts complaining to you as you just kept killing them over and over again. I was loving it.
Yeah, it's basically whack-a-mole with Spartans, Master Chiefs, and whatnot. You're there with a sniper rifle. That's it. You can't move. You can duck. That's it. So you better make your shot. It's so much fun, and there's a whole bunch of different creativity and like any other user generated stuff. Like some are great, some are not so great. There's a Walmart level, like there's a Walmart store. It's enormous. You can launch out there. There's a scorpion tank like in the parking lot that you can snag onto. Like it's a riot, dude. I really like it. I can't wait to see what else we've got in store for Halo. I'm trying to recall last week we did our predictions with Ryan. Oh no, we had some Halo predictions, but that's for another time. Is there anything else you guys want to chat about? What you're playing? What you got going on? That's it for me.
I want to. Speaking of predictions, I want to talk about how you were right, Sean.
Let's jump right into it. Breaking news, slamming this conversation, slam the brakes, because the breaking news is a pun. But it's a car pun where we're breaking, but normally it'd be breaking in a different sense. BRAKE
Once you explain the joke,
news. I'll keep going with it. That's it's ABS breaking news. What is going on? Oh my gosh, you're right. Last week, if you tuned in, I predicted that Xbox needed to communicate better this year and more succinctly with Nintendo-style directs. Well, wouldn't you know it, a developer direct has been announced for January 20-something. Where is it here?
25th.
Where's 25th?
25th.
3
It's
p.m.
happening.
Eastern time.
Holy crap. What do you guys think about this?
And we're going to be live on Carpool Gaming. I just have to throw that out there. I know I'll be there. I know Ryan will be there. Maybe
probably
Seth,
be there
maybe
too.
Sean. Whoever's there in Carpool will be there. We'll be watching along. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about Redfall. It's one of my most anticipated games for this year.
Yeah. Well, we should say. So this is going to be the Xbox Developer Direct, which is, quote, providing fans with an inside look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months, which I think is interesting. Over the next few months, meaning that we're going to be talking about ESO. I guess Elder Scrolls Online is getting a new DLC chapter or whatever. The next Forza, which is crazy that the next Forza is apparently coming in the next few months. New details of Minecraft Legends and new details from Redfall. So, like, to me, I'm like, that's some major games coming out pretty soon, dude.
And 3 of those games I'm excited to play. Like, I'm excited to play Minecraft because I really like dungeons. So I was a big fan of it. And Forza Motorsports, after Horizon, I am in. I am all about the Forza games. They do phenomenal stuff. I want to try Motorsports because I know it's more of a Gearhead type game. I want to give it a try. But Redfall, I even got more excited when the developers were like, no. Like, this game is more like Far Cry. And I'm like, oh my God, did you just say like the magic words? You have a 4-player Far Cry that, because it's on Game Pass, once again, the best thing I love about Game Pass is, hey, I don't have to message Sean or you, Seth, and say, hey, do you have this game? It's like, hey, do you want to play this game? Like, that's Xbox should just put out a shirt and just says, do you want to play this game? That's it, because you don't need anything. As long as you have Game Pass, you can play it with your friends. Not, hey, do you own this game? That conversation's over.
Right.
Do you want to play this game? And I'm excited to play Redfall.
It's something that I've commented on in Nintendo land for years and years, because when Nintendo drops a game, everybody who has a Nintendo is going to buy that game. So, like, you have this automatic community that's kind of happening around it. And it's not necessarily the case with Xbox, and it hasn't. But now with day and date games, you're right. Like, it just removes that barrier. There is no, I'll get around to buying. It's like, no, you have the same access as the rest of us if you have Game Pass. So that is great. I'm trying to remember. I waffled on my prediction around Forza, and I don't remember exactly where I landed. I'll have to go back and check that.
You originally predicted it for last year. I know that because you thought it would come out at the very end of last year.
No, I meant last week. No, and Ryan and I counterpicked Forza, like Bad Bit in the trophy room. They thought it was coming out last year. We counterpicked it. We knew it wasn't last year. But what I'm trying to remember is last week, did I predict it as part of the spring lineup, or I think originally I thought more like September, October kind of thing. But this direct, this direct seems to indicate that maybe those rumors Ryan was talking about, that maybe May, June, that's possible.
From what I was reading on VGC, because it was pretty much, this was broken like 2 days ago, and everybody had it and said this was happening, so on and so forth on Monday, right? And everybody just kept rumor, and I'm just like, they have times and dates. Like, you don't have times and dates if it's a rumor. Like, it's okay, it might happen this week, but when you have the time and date, and they put in that Xbox is going to do these like every 3 months, so they're going to let you know what's coming out technically to Game Pass, because that's what these are for the next 3 months. So my guess is that it comes at the end. So we got, if it's happening now, February, March, so we get it in April?
It's
'Cause Redfall's
possible.
Redfall's March, right?
I think that was the rumor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the rumor. That's my thing though, is I'm looking at just the communication here is that these are games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Like these are coming. These are coming.
And they made
soon.
that comment
Yes.
at that showcase, right, Sean? They said these are
Yep.
the games over the next 12 months. And then they said, and we'll have more regular updates coming. So originally, I remember Ryan turning to me, he's like, is that he was guesstimating because he's usually right. I hate to say it, but it's true. I think he was saying at the time, was like, well, maybe we'll get like, hey, here's what's coming for the next 6 months. But if Xbox does this, that builds the hype machine, especially when they've got a game like Starfield, which is going to have its own direct now,
Yes.
as we've
Yep.
heard from Todd Howard. So we're going to have the next 3 months, we're going to get these games plus Starfield, and then we're going to get another direct, a developers direct, where it's going to be like, here's the next couple of games. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't always have their first party games in these directs. As long as the games come in a Game Pass, it can be in this showcase.
Yeah.
That's the way Xbox rolls, because that's the way it was when we went to the showcase at E3. So the Toronto E3, but like that's my guesstimate that the next showcase, not necessarily is it going to be only first party. I have a funny feeling there's going to be a big third party game in that showcase.
See, this is what we normally do with Nintendo Directs, and I actually kind of like this. Like, I feel like they're being pretty specific with what it is. But yeah,
Yep.
let's start rumors that it's going to be something more than exactly
It'd be
that.
fun.
Like,
You got to start rumors.
yeah, totally Cyberpunk DLC coming to Game Pass.
No,
Announced
I don't
at the
think
director.
that- I don't think
Developer
it's something
Direct.
big like that. I think it's going to be a title either from Ubisoft or
Star Wars
from-
game. Come on, keep it rolling.
That's,
Keep it rolling.
that's a tough one to come to Game Pass. That's a big game.
Can you
And
imagine?
From that article that came out of VGC today, it sounds like that Star Wars game's coming this year.
I'm
Because
telling
they
you,
said-
dude.
I think it is. I truly think you're right, John. I think that game is coming this year. Hence the reason I picked it. If you
Oh,
go look,
snap.
I took it in our Fantasy Critic because from everything I'm reading from like the Tom Hendersons of the world and all that game's coming out this year.
Yeah, man.
And like Ubisoft literally just said it in a developers call that like a very big game
yeah.
from a franchise is coming out this year. And we already know Assassin's Creed's coming. Like, what else is there besides this? There's no other big game than a Star
Nice.
Wars game that they've been working on for what, 5 years almost?
Mm-hmm. Now, Seth, like now that you've discovered you have access to Game Pass, what timing, my friend? They're going to give you everything
Cool.
that you would ever want to know in January, which almost never happens, by the way. Like the last couple of years I've commented on, Sony's come out really quickly. Nintendo comes out with their directs in February. Like we always get these beginning of the calendar year kind of showcases. And it's always been like, where's Xbox? And then they do this 4-hour indie thing on Twitch for some reason. This is like, I've got high hopes for this. As exciting as this all is, they still need to deliver. They do need to, like, part of my prediction, I'm not 100% right. We need to see what this is. It has to be snappy, you know? Like, nobody wants to sit around
Right.
for 3.5 hours and learn about the trebuchets in Age of Empires. That's not what we're here for.
Dates.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's the feeling so Bowser here in the chat here live on YouTube asked, will there be a Game Pass shadow drop on the 25th? I don't think that's what this is,
No.
right? Like I think that they have set expectations very specifically. Hey, we're coming in at this time, we're talking about these things, we're letting the developers tell you about these things. Like this is what this is right here. And I actually really like that. I like having these kind of parameters of what to expect going in. And I like that these things seem to be coming soon. I think we're going to be getting dates, gameplay for every single one of these, like getting the word from the developers themselves. This is a developer direct. I think it's great that they're kind of following that Nintendo model of having a dedicated direct for a big game like Starfield later on. I think that's super smart. We see Nintendo do this all the time. Yeah, I am very excited. I think this is really smart. I think everybody should be doing this stuff.
Well, Aaron Greenberg put out the tweet on Monday, like we got big things coming real soon. And already today, I guess people are data mining, and I guess Ubisoft Plus is finally coming because the games are showing up free in the data mining. So knowing that, that's going to be a blog post, but I would expect this month in January, they're going to focus on here's stuff coming to Game Pass. And then when they do the January direct or developers, whatever, sizzle reel. I'm hoping we get the same hype. When I walked out of that showcase, I was through the moon.
Yeah, man.
When we saw it live, I was through the moon. I was just like, wow, all these games, they just punched you in the face with games. So if they do what Sean's suggesting, they just hit us with games, drop it in a half an hour. Don't waste our time. Just hit with games, and then say, here's when they're coming out. So we know the slate. Then the following week, they're like, and now you have a whole, like, here's a half an hour of Starfield. It's just like, yo, Xbox ain't messing around.
That's what we've been asking for. That now is the time, 2023. Like I said last week, we're running out of patience around here. So I think they can really deliver. I'm so excited. We've got 2 weeks of completely unreasonable expectations to be developed. Like we'll continue to hype things up. Bows is in the chat. He says you can't control my expectations. We have a question coming in from Brian Eck. I think I saw here. Brian asked, and I'll share this with the group. What's your feeling if Starfield doesn't run at 60 frames per second and is capped at 30? We'll start with you, Court. What do you think about that, man?
I would be angry.
Yeah.
I honestly, for someone that is touted, I play on both. I play on PC. It doesn't matter what consoles, and I'll say it over and over again that the Xbox Series X is the better console. It is made for 60 frames per second. If they bring it out at 30, I think that the reviews will show it, and this game will bomb. Regardless of how good it is, people will go after this game, and the reviews will go after the 30 frames per second because that's just not good enough anymore. I don't think it is.
Even if there's 100 stars that you're going to be able to go to, whatever, the game is huge. You can pick up anything.
Yeah, but if I'm going, it's a first-person shooter technically at some points, right? We have the gun. Like, no, it's not good enough. It needs to be better than if it's on the Xbox Series X. If I'm playing on my X, it needs to be 60 frames per second. If I'm playing on my S or whatever, I get it. But if I'm playing on my X, it needs to be 60.
Seth, where are you on this, man? Because we're playing on Switch mostly. Like, that's
what I'm saying. For me, I'm like 30 frames. That's like twice as many as I get in Pokemon, you know. And so I'm like, it sounds great. But I think Court's right because there is a certain expectation. This is like the first big next generation Bethesda game. There's always me personally. I'm always real trepidatious with Bethesda just in general because their games come out and they're like super buggy and like broken and stuff, you know, usually. And I've kind of fallen off of them for a little while, but I will come into this with an open mind because I have Game Pass. I can pop in there and play it and try it out, right? And see what the deal is. So, but I do think that there is a certain expectation, a certain standard that needs to be met. And to Court's point, there's so many other things, and I've made this point before on other podcasts where Bethesda used to be the only people making games like this,
right?
And they're not anymore. You know, like you can point to other people who are making games like this. You can point at the Witchers of the world and whatever, and it's like these games don't come out a buggy mess, you know. So I do think they're getting held under the microscope now more than they used to. So
I think the Game Pass point is a good one in that it's not like this is going to cost you $60 if you have Game Pass. Some people are just going to be buying it outright. But the counterpoint to that I'm already hearing, you know, console warriors out there going, well, does that just mean that Game Pass lowers the expectations? Like, is that what that means? I don't know. But I do feel like I just want to explore the stars. You know, I just want it to run stable. And I don't know, maybe this is just sitting on the fence a little bit. Would 60 be great? Yeah, obviously. But also this game looks huge. And I hope it achieves its ambition more than anything. Like 30 frames, if it's stable, that's probably going to be fine. The other part of the question that isn't really included here is like at what resolution? Like maybe they can do 60 and it kind of scales all over the place. That's probably fine. People wouldn't notice if you didn't say anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Give me options. If I have those options.
Vespas. Give me my Vespas, man. Just give me them.
Like a performance mode. I'm good. I will always set it to performance mode.
Same.
If you've played Gotham Knights, you'll understand 30 just doesn't cut it anymore. Like it's just that game. Ouch! It's just woof. Like, and this is supposed to be the biggest game on Xbox this year. This is supposed to be hey, we brought out Halo Infinite and we kind of, you know, put a stick in our own bike as we were driving it, but we delayed Starfield. We didn't bring it out as a buggy mess. We're about to bring it out as perfection, and you can't not anymore. It's got to be like it's no longer 2022. It's no longer 2021. It's 2023, and these are next-gen consoles. It needs to be next-gen in this game.
Now, quick before we jump into questions from our friends in the Discord, sooner or later, Court, do you think Starfield is releasing sooner or later? And by that I mean spring, as in sooner, or later being like holiday?
Sooner.
Seth?
I think sooner too. Yeah, because for me, I'm like, if they're gonna have a dedicated direct for Starfield or whatever, then why would they like double tap that at E3? You know, like why would they do something else at E3?
And why would they even say it today?
Right.
Like, Todd Howard straight up was like, "Oh no, don't worry, we're gonna do our own."
Could be in February. You know,
could be tomorrow,
right around the corner.
Yeah. Who knows? Could be any. As Ryan would say, it could be anything. And speaking of Ryan would definitely want us to go over the games coming to Game Pass in January, and definitely at least 2 notable ones that we're going to be talking about here: Persona 3 or PSP. Persona for PSP. Is that how it's better known?
I guess. Yeah.
Matt's not here, and Ryan's not here to correct us.
There's no way to know.
Portable. Yeah. It's impossible to know.
And Persona 4 Golden, which is the one that I actually played, which is actually amazing. This is
excellent.
You guys, you've got to play Persona 4 Golden. There's now no longer any excuse for you to miss this dang thing. Holy crap. Persona, this is a huge get for Xbox. And I feel like it's worth mentioning that just at the very least, because we can very quickly get into, oh yeah, like Persona's coming. Like, I'm sorry, that game is huge. And there's no way this was coming to Xbox a year ago or 2 years ago or before. We're in a new time in Xbox land, and I'm very happy about that, you guys.
And if no one plays this, I will have gone deaf at the showcase for nothing, because Ryan screeched louder than I have ever heard a human being screech when they announced that.
Beastly, even. Yeah, a demon was erupting.
Guttural.
January 19th, Persona 3 Portable on Cloud Console and PC. January 19th, Persona 4 Golden, Cloud Console and PC. And right alongside it on January 20th is Monster Hunter Rise on Cloud Console and PC, which is very cool to see Monster Hunter continue to be supported on Xbox and in Game Pass. And if you're looking at news.xbox.com for this announcement, the very end of the URL says Game Pass January 2023 Wave 1. So that to me hints that maybe there's another round of games, but let's focus on these 3. They're a big deal. And what a month January is for games. Holy crap. I gotta get moving, you guys. I'm getting a little anxious. A little stressed out.
Also there's I think it was announced today, there's a new power option on your Xbox for standby mode that you can actually put it on an environmental mode that it uses 20 times less power.
20 times.
20 times. 20 times.
Wait, so what if I leave the 20 times power on? Does that mean I get 60 frames per second on Starfield? Like what if
no, this is talking about for energy saving mode. So this one-time update to the power settings will reduce your power consumption while the console is off, and will not affect performance, gameplay, or console's ability to receive overnight updates to the system. So I guess while this, a lot of us do, we leave our PlayStation on rest mode, or your Xbox, they overnight, it's updating for us, right? So that we can have a convenience. Well, that consumes power. So Xbox has solved a problem that no one was complaining about, which is a good thing. Like they go above and beyond, just like PlayStation brought out the adaptive controller. Well, Xbox already did that. Like some of these innovations that they do makes me want to stay in the ecosystem over and over again, because they just continue like, hey, you know that thing you didn't even ask for? We did it anyways. And then I can guarantee you PlayStation, all of them are going to have to copy suit, because this is great. This is not a bad thing.
I want to know how I can put uranium and or trash to fuel even more power, just like the DeLorean in Back to the Future. You guys know what I'm talking about. We have some questions coming in from...
DeLorean was fueled by plutonium, but continue.
Oh, did I say uranium? You're right, plutonium. My bad. I'm embarrassed.
It's okay. You saw the poster and you went on a whole tangent.
I actually didn't. I look at you and think Back to the Future. I tried.
It's the best movie. My daughter and I'm planning to watch it with her. Hey, question for you. Should I watch that with my 6-year-old? Is she ready yet?
See what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe she becomes a drug dealer in the future. We'll see.
Racy moments in there. I don't know. Don't have the
Nagachaka comes on in with a question. He says, the Xbox Developer Direct is a terrible name for a showcase. What catchy name would you guys call it? First, do you agree it's terrible? And B, what else would you call it, Court Lalonde?
Honestly, at this point, Nintendo already stole the best name because they made it short and sweet, Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just trying to play catch up. And I don't really think you can't just call it hype or X gonna give it to you. Just, you know what? Might as well call it the worst thing possible, but just exceed expectations and blow us away each time.
Exceed expectation. Xbox exceed. Okay.
That's what you call it.
Yep. What do you think, Seth?
I actually don't think it's a terrible name. Like, I actually am not. I think it's fine for what it is. I think that
it's fine.
I actually think. I think that to Court's point, I think the name Direct like sets probably expectations for people as to what it is, which I think is unfortunate. So maybe moving away from the direct like verbiage would be okay, but but I don't think it's terrible personally.
I kind of wish that it was first party, maybe, or something like Xbox. I don't know, but I do, because we see things like partner directs from Nintendo. We see Nindies, we see Indie Direct. Like, it kind of just gives you a sense of what you're in for, which is so important, as we've learned. Like, you need to manage expectations. Sometimes somebody like Sony will come out and say, like, don't expect to see this game, don't expect to see this game. I think that it signifies a lack of creating good expectations just with what it is itself. When you go, don't get too excited, this isn't going to be here. I think when you call something a developer's direct, I don't know that achieves that. Like, what developers?
Studio Spotlight?
Yes, totally.
Good.
Xbox Studio Spotlight, something like that. Totally. Yeah, that's what I would call that, Nagachaka. And I'm surprised
Solved it.
he didn't say, and why would it be such and such? But,
Right.
That's fine. Maybe it wasn't Nagachaka. Maybe his phone was
it's
left
okay.
unlocked.
He thinks The Last of Us 2 is better than The Last of Us 1, and he's wrong. So
Definitely
continue.
wrong. Blaze Knight comes in with a question and says, what are some underrated games you would recommend people check out that you don't think are on Game Pass?
That are not, so they're not on Game Pass. I saw this question, so I'm like, okay, so they're not on Game Pass. I'm going to have to sit on this because I was very confused by it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, all the games are on Game Pass. All the games you want to play, they're already there. So, like, what are you even asking?
What games wouldn't be? I'll say this, and I don't know if it's actually on Game Pass. I know that it's free, but one of my very favorite original Xbox games is this game called Phantom Dust.
Nice.
And it is so underrated, one of the most underrated games of all time. And I know if it isn't on Game Pass, it is at least free. They have done an amazing HD, like, kind of up-res of that game and made it available on PC, Xbox, and like everything. And it's immaculate.
Yeah.
Everybody should play Phantom Dust.
Actually, one of the things that I played over the holidays was the Mafia trilogy. It's not on Game Pass, but it was
good
on
one.
sale. And I know, Sean, you're not the biggest fan, because I remember when I bought it originally, you were like, really? I
Yeah,
was,
but it's a good
excited.
pick still.
I sent Sean a picture. I was like, look,
Just
I was so
crap all
excited
over his
about this. And it was
excitement.
like last Christmas. And then Sean's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, but look what comic I got. I'm like, well, I'm excited about that. But I played it over the holidays, and I really enjoyed it. It was like, if you just play the story, it's like watching a Goodfellas or a Godfather movie.
Yeah.
It's just, there's very little, in the very first one, there's very little gameplay. It's a lot more story than gameplay. It's just go to the mission, spend 3 minutes in the mission, and then story, which I enjoyed because it was just perfect. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just looking for something.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to some of the things that may be obvious but not mentioned. Call of Duty, I think, is great, but not on Game Pass. I think NHL is awesome, but not fully on Game Pass, or Madden or any of those things. I think those are like, this has been my argument against the whole console war thing to begin with, is there's a huge amount of crossover between Xbox and PlayStation, and we focus on like, well, The Last of Us is over here and God of War and blah blah blah, and it's like, but 95% of the games are on both. Like, can we just like stop with this? And so it's an interesting question because, like, it kind of forces you to go like, there's the obvious ones, Call of Duty, those types of things. That's what I would say.
Play
Call
Phantom
of
Dust,
Duty.
everybody.
Call of Duty. I think we have time for maybe one more question. I might even carry this over for Ryan next week, because you'll see why. Delroy jumps in and says, Xbox has made effort to secure Asia-created content for the platform, many times through Game Pass deals. What other areas of the world would you like to see it work with to find and highlight up-and-coming creators and talent? Oh, and why does Nagachaka need to drop everything and play Persona 5 Royal immediately? He definitely does. And I love the Nagachaka theme question. You beat him to it.
Yeah.
What other areas of the
Persona
world,
Royal's
Seth?
awesome. You know what? I actually, initially, as you were reading this, I didn't think I would have an answer to this, but I think I actually do. Indonesia is a really emerging market for independent games. There's some amazing independent developers that are coming up with like massive. I'm thinking of publishers like Chorus Worldwide, developers like Toge Productions, who do these like really great games like Coffee Talk. These are Indonesian.
Yeah. Oh
developed
wow, I didn't know
games.
that.
Yeah, Coffee Talk. And,
Coffee Talk.
Coffee Talk.
Coffee talk.
And there's a lot of like amazing games coming out of Indonesia that I think people should look at. There's an upcoming game coming out next week called A Space for the Unbound that is also developed by an Indonesian team. It's kind of like a indie game hotbed right now, and so I think that would be my answer.
Nice. What do you think, Court?
Well, my answer is going to be terrible because I think it's wherever Xbox is going to make money because it's the only reason they're doing this in the first place. It's unfortunate, but it's true. That's the way I looked at the question. I get it, but I'm like Seth. I was like, I don't know, but what emerging market is Xbox trying to break into? Like they're really trying, and I'll say this over and over again. The Xbox Series S was not made for North America. It was made for that Asian market, and it's been doing phenomenal there.
Yeah.
And there was a reason for that console, and that was the reason because they couldn't do a portable one. So it's wherever the next emerging market is to grow the Xbox brand, unfortunately, because that's just the way it's going to be thought.
I think it's an interesting question because when you think about like particularly like Japanese style games, like that says something. When I say that, you know the style of game that you're going to get. And I'm not really sure that that's necessarily the case for others. Like maybe there's some Eastern European developers out there, like the guys who made Metro, Cyberpunk, I think maybe has a particular look.
Red.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's as defined. Like I think you could, if you didn't tell anybody, and if you said this game was actually made by BioWare, would they believe you? I think maybe there's an argument to be made that that's when compared to how distinct the Japanese games are. So I don't know if it's necessarily as important from a stylistic thing where you look at a game and you know this is from a particular area. I'm just curious on what stories and perspectives can be shared from all over the world that aren't necessarily there right now. And I think that's maybe a bit of a vague answer, but I don't think it's as important as grabbing this Japanese thing because there's history there. There's so much history as far as games that people grew up on playing Japanese style games that maybe they're, to your point, Court, maybe there's up and comers that can be that for their kind of geographic region, if that makes any sense. I think I blacked out. I'm not sure exactly what I said.
No, so correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying more culture games like, hey, show us more of your culture in your game. Like when you mentioned BioWare, I'm like, oh yeah, they're Canadian, and like,
right.
Well, what about them shows that they're Canadian?
That's what kept me from saying Canada.
Besides that, I can't remember the name of the game. It was on Game Pass, and I actually really liked it. Not Coco Melon.
Coco Melon.
Coco Melon.
That's the way my brain works. But there was the game where they made it, and it was very Canadian. Like in the kids' room, there's a hockey stick, and he's wearing the Canadian maple leaf on his hat.
Yeah, I don't.
You know the
remember
game
what
I'm
that
talking
one is.
about.
Yep.
I really liked it too. But it's just so many games, so many times. But yeah, like there isn't really a game that speaks to Canada either.
Yeah, like is Cuphead clearly Canadian, like the drink? I don't think so. Like it's great. Yeah, they like. Ontario family, just whatever. So yeah, I think it's a mixture of what stories are going to be told because of the experiences that exist from the developers who are living in that region. But I would like to see maybe more of that. Like it seems like the Japanese developers were very specific about that in taking all of that art style and storytelling styles and putting that into the games. You don't really get that anywhere else. I could be wrong about that. Leave a comment down below here at youtube.com/carpoolgaming. That is going to do it for us here on the Xbox Drive. Seth and Court, I've been so lucky to have you alongside me. I don't know where Ryan is. I just hope he's okay. I hope he's not outside because it's cold out here. Mr. Court Lalonde, I'm going to start with you because I know you love this question. Please tell the people on the internet where they should follow you. Maybe I'll say that. I know where they can find you.
They can find me on Twitter at Court Lalonde, and you can also find me on Carpool Gaming all over the social media.
How about you, Seth? Where can people find you, my friend?
http://
Yes, do it.
//twitter.com/$2hero. And of course, right here at Carpool Gaming as well.
And as for me, I want to say shout out to Strong Mom Games in the chat. Welcome on in. I don't think I've seen you around these parts. Welcome. Thank you for checking out the show. You can find me at http://www.twitter.com/Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. You can support the show at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. You get exclusive content at that $3 tier and up. I encourage you to do it. Help support our dreams. Helps us make more content. All the good stuff. Ryan Turford, you're back next week, and I'm going to tell you how right I was once again. That is all for us. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.